So I just had knee surgery for the second time because I tore my ACL for the second time. And what's extra special about this one is that in another 6 months, I get to have a third surgery to finish off repairing it. The reason I'm sharing this is because while I was stuck on my sofa with honestly nothing to really do, you can only play so many video games before just going crazy.
Where did they take the game?
It got me thinking about how I usually spend my time, what I would normally be doing, and whether or not I was spending that time wisely. And thinking about all this led me to two of my favorite films, Perfect Days and Columbus. And if you've seen these movies, I'm sure you can draw the parallels between them, but they both explore this idea of living a fulfilling life and what that fulfilling life looks like. Since this was my second time getting ACL surgery, I knew what to expect going in and kind of what the recovery would be like. It's not fun. And the big thing that happens to you is that it limits what you can do.
I can't!
Buddy?
I can't do this!
But these limiting factors are key parts of both of these movies. The idea of a fulfilling life looks different for all people. For some, it's traveling the world. For others, it's about trying the most exotic foods. But one common theme is that it's exciting and it's full of novel experiences. But what if what was truly fulfilling, the way to real contentment, was a little more simple? Perfect Days by Wim Wenders is about a man named Hirayama, who is a public toilet cleaner in Tokyo, Japan. He lives a life of routine moments, always starting his day with coffee from his vending machine outside of his small apartment. And as he moves from one artfully designed public restroom to the next, he finds these small moments of beauty and peace in the way the light dances through the trees and casts playful shadows on the world around him. There's actually a Japanese word and concept to describe this exact act of appreciating the sun filtered through the trees. It's called komorebi. It's an act dedicated to experiencing the ephemeral beauty created by the light and shadows. We see Hirayama's appreciation for small moments of beauty throughout the film in many different ways. Each day he has the same lunch in the same park, where he takes a photograph of the trees towering above him. But the way he takes the photo is far more important than the photos that he's taking. He chooses to shoot from the hip, never actually looking through the viewfinder to compose his shot. Instead, he's allowing fate to choose the composition, focusing more on experiencing the moment he's in. And it reminds me a lot of a scene towards the end of The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, when Walter finally finds Sean, who's been traveling across the globe to capture an elusive photograph of the snow leopard. And when he finally has one in his sights, a perfect composition of this beautiful animal, he backs away from the camera and says,
"If I like a moment, me, personally, I don't like to have the distraction of the camera. I just want to stay in it."
I think this is one of the big lessons that we can learn from these movies. It's so easy to get caught up chasing the goals that we place in front of us that we forget to experience the moments to their full extent. Neither Sean nor Hirayama let the camera distract from the moment. Instead, it's an extension of how they fully experience that moment, whether or not they fire off a shot. It's through these choices of how we choose to experience life that we can actually find contentment. The material thing they create that we so often place as number one doesn't matter to them, and instead just becomes a byproduct of the way that they live. We can see in the film that Hirayama likely comes from a well-off family through his interactions with his sister, but he's chosen a life that he finds contentment and happiness in. He expands his mind through reading classic literature, listens to beautiful music with his cassette collection, and is able to pass along moments of wisdom to his niece. I'm reminded specifically of a scene where he says,
今度は今度。今は今。
今度は今度。今は今。
This isn't just some passing phrase, he's sharing his life philosophy with his niece. And even if she doesn't fully understand what it means in that moment, he's able to share a perspective that we can assume wouldn't reach her otherwise. Oftentimes, there are other people in our lives that both enrich and complicate things. And it's easy to allow those complications to throw us off our path towards a fulfilling life. How we're perceived by other people can easily cause us to change the way we live just to fit into the world around us. But his self-worth isn't through his outward appearance of success or even what his family thinks of him.
本当にトイレ掃除してんの?
Instead, he lives his life his own way. And it's similar to the teaching that we see in Kogonada's film Columbus, but told from a different character perspective at a different point in this timeline of finding contentment. We might imagine that Casey, the protagonist of Columbus, deals with some of the same internal conflicts that Hirayama went through in his younger years because, if we're being honest, life isn't as simple, or at least doesn't feel as simple, as the life that Hirayama has curated for himself. Now, Casey deeply wants to go to college and study architecture. You can see that architecture is what lights the spark inside of her, but she chooses to hold herself back, tells herself that she's obligated to take care of her mother, a recovering addict, and you can see her force herself to think that she's happy and content working in the city library.
I just think I should stay here.
She even goes so far as to tell herself that every opportunity she gets to study architecture somewhere else or to start to follow her dreams that she keeps bottled up is a victim of poor timing, or just a nicety that someone says in passing. She's living her life beholden to the decisions of another person, restricting the growth that she can experience.
You are smart and talented. You could do a lot better.
Then what?
Now, this isn't to say that we should never sacrifice our own time for another. I mean, there's a lot of growth and fulfillment that can come from that, and there's a reason why you feel good when you're helping someone else. But when it comes at the continuous cost of pursuing your own dreams and passions in life, it's only harming you.
Mom, it's me. Call me back.
There's a balance that needs to be struck. It's a balance that Hirayama has in Perfect Days. He's not driven by ambition, but instead by his own contentment. He follows this inner peace from moment to moment, allowing himself to explore his interests and retain a full and enriching life. Our commitment to our family can often be the most difficult anchor holding us back. It acts as an easy attachment point when we're scared to jump into the world and chase after what we're passionate about. And it's not that we need to totally abandon our family, but once again that we need to find balance between what we need and what those around us need from us. This plays out in Columbus with the two main characters who each act as one side of the scales trying to reach equilibrium. While Casey learns to live for herself, Jin learns the opposite. He learns to forgive his father and sacrifice more of his own time for him, repairing a small portion of their estranged relationship. There's a fine line to walk when it comes to wholeheartedly pursuing what you love in life. On the one side, we have those who don't fully commit and, while they might still find some success, also will be plagued by thinking, if only I'd tried just a little bit harder. And then on the other side, we have those who commit too much to their ambition and lose the happiness found in the process of the pursuit. And if you live solely to reach the goals that you set for yourself, you'll continuously need to just create a new goal because once you reach it, there's nothing left. The success comes at the price of your own ability to slow down and enjoy where you are. We live in an interesting time where a fulfilling life is often seen on the outside as being financially successful. But these movies look at fulfillment in a different way. If we take that first ideology, Hirayama should be a complete failure. He should be scratching and clawing his way back up towards a higher paycheck, a better job. But instead we see his ambition implied in a different way. It's to his diligence in his work, his commitment to his routine, and his love for the light in the trees dancing around him. Casey's ambition is also based outside of financial success. It's for a pure love of architecture, exploring the way the buildings around us influence the way we live and feel. And eventually, it's for personal growth, proving to herself that she's able to and deserves to pursue her passions in life. I think we can all learn something from these two films that can help us be happier and more content with our lives. Well, we don't all need to live as simple and routine a life as Hirayama, or suddenly leave our hometown and study an art form like Casey. We do need to focus less energy on the material outcomes of our lives. And maybe, just maybe, we could all do with a little bit more time spent watching the way the light dances as it filters through the trees. I'd love to know what you think down in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching.